Hey, welcome back after our summer hiatus where we were all just off on beaches and partying.
Yeah, I wish.
What you doing? You're an internet celebrity like us. I'm
We're-
JD.
I'm me, and
That's
that's the boy. So we're good.
We're good. We're coming at you because we just had our fantasy football drafts, and we were going to talk about it a little bit. Just for you people, because I know you're so interested in our draft that you didn't have your own.
More jealous than interested.
Yeah, jealous.
You're sad because you didn't do it, and you know you should
I
have.
love his noises in the background.
Yeah, there's that tiny little hand behind me. There's gonna be a lot of that going on.
Okay, so fantasy football draft. I'm gonna run down my team real quick. I didn't draft in this order. This is just who I got. Ryan, Charles, Edelman, AJ Green, Heath Miller, Alfred Morris, Joseph Randall, I'm sorry. Alex Smith, CJ Anderson, LeGarrette Blount, Larry Fitzgerald, Pierre Garçon, Devin Hester, Dwayne Allen, Dan Bailey, Nick Novak, Jets defense, Browns defense. Go ahead.
I don't draft like everyone else does. So I got Roethlisberger, Amir Abdullah, because Joyke Bell's done now. I've had Joyke Bell ever since he's been in the league, but I'm done with him. Antonio Brown, Nelson Aguilar, Richard Rodgers, James Starks, Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I got him, because Jordy Nelson's out. Okay. Derek Carr, Jay Ajayi, Le'Veon Bell, Duke Johnson, Cordarrelle Patterson, Nick Toon, Max Williams is my tight end from Baltimore because I saw a special or a little blurb about him on ESPN. He seems like a solid dude. Cat Nanzaro as my kicker. Got Dolphins and the Lions is my defense. And yes, with my last pick in the last round, I drafted Tim Tebow because you never freaking know what's going to go on in Philly. But any team in that division, you have no idea what's going on.
Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about each other's teams, not our own, and I'll talk about his. He can reference back, and then vice versa.
I don't even remember.
You can look it up.
I can't.
I'll show you if you want.
No, I think
Your draft, quarterback, you're solid, except for Derek Carr's a question. I think he needs another 2 years to be legitimately good, but you didn't get him first. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
but
not
the-
your first quarterback.
But the last 2 years, I've always taken wild cards.
Yeah,
I always
you
take
have.
that guy that has.
You always do. You always do. So that's why your team is always a question mark. You're never a bust. You can be a sleeper. Your team's like right in the middle of the pack.
I'm
in my
solid.
opinion. Yeah, like Abdullah, he can run the football. He played for Wisconsin, Nebraska last year.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, he ran the freaking shit out of the ball. He can run the ball. Antonio Brown, duh. I mean, obviously. Aguilar, that guy can play, and he can play really good. R. Rodgers, gotta throw somebody, right? Starks, good. Starks is a good backup. That's the only question I have. He's a backup, but you got him late. So
Well, the
that's
other
fine.
tight end at Green Bay, Andrew Corliss, didn't really have that much production last year, and everything I read and heard was talking about how Rodgers could be the breakout middle field weapon that Aaron Rodgers needs now that Nelson's out. So I'm like,
Well, that's really
I'll
all.
take a gamble.
That's really all he's missing is a solid tight end.
Well, but how many two tight end sets do they run though? You know, it's a solid bet that he's going to be on the field enough to generate enough points to just cover that hole that I have between him and Max Williams.
Okay, and Devontae Adams, that's a solid pickup. I was gonna get him if you weren't. He did great for me last. I didn't like him last year, so it was good for me. Let's see, David Carr. Like I said, it has to pay out. Or Derek Carr. Has to pan out. You'll see. You need him for that one bye week, and he might just do good that one bye week.
That's all he needs to do.
Le'Veon Bell, he's out the first 4 games, but he's still 2 games. I'm sorry, 2 games.
Martavius Bryant's out.
D.
That's why I
Johnson.
didn't draft him.
D. Johnson, you're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, he is.
I've heard nothing but great sleeper things about him. That's predominantly, as you can tell by the names I read off, I really dig deep into sleepers. I like those guys that break out at the end of the season when everyone else is beat up and banged up, and they're looking for people on the waiver wire because their guys are on the injured reserve. There I am, fresh guys ready to step up. It's strategy, sort of. Either that or is a 4-beer draft. That kind of happens.
That happens. Patterson, you're gonna double dip because he'll return. He's a good returner.
If I play him. He's sitting week 1. I'm just not sure yet.
San Francisco. I'd play him in San Francisco. That's his
Yeah, but my wide receiver course pretty.
Yeah, it's true. Nick Toon, you're gonna trade him anyway. You're gonna get rid of him.
Well, he's on the IR, so he's not doing me any
He's
good.
out for the season. The IR's out for season.
I guess I ought to do that one.
And Williams, again, that's another sleeper, but he's tight end for Baltimore. I can't think of their tight end at the moment. So he's the only one. Kicker, he's okay. They're gonna do better this year because
Daniels?
no, Pizarro.
No,
Owen Daniels plays.
No, the other tight end for Baltimore.
Owen Daniels plays for the Broncos because he followed their offensive coordinator there
From Baltimore.
Yes.
All right, I'm good.
And then your two defense, they're solid defense. Lions are a little lesser, but Dolphins are solid.
I pick Detroit every year. I always take Detroit's defense.
So okay, now let's look at mine. I think your team is a solid team, but there's sleepers. There's a sleeper.
That's all I
mix
ever
in there.
For. I like everything you've done, pretty much. I'm not going to go player by player. Heath Miller, I think, is getting close to the end of his run.
I know, but he's the best tight end available at the time I picked.
Yeah.
I picked him like round 15.
I'm just not sure about him. Randall, I've never been a fan of Randall.
Well, the reason why I picked him is just because he's behind the best offensive line in the game. And do you have more faith in Randall playing and being consistent and being able to stay healthy, or Darren McFadden?
Randall.
Thank you. That's why I picked him. And plus, Darren McFadden, he gets hurt, Randall's going to get all those carries. And he averaged 7 yards a touch last year.
Have you really? This is the roster you're set and you're going to run on week 1, or are you going to make adjustments?
I just threw it together of what it would look like. I haven't.
Because I really can't. I can't think of a single scenario in my head where I'd want to sit C.J. Anderson on week 1.
C.J. Anderson plays
Baltimore.
Yeah, but I thought the other matchups were better. That's why I went that way.
All right. Larry Fitzgerald, he's at the end of his run, but he might be solid points the 1 week you need him.
Yeah.
That's the way he pans out. Like Jesse, my wife has had him. This is the
fairness
first year
to
she
him-
didn't have him.
In fairness to him.
I'm not. Hold on, I'm not done.
Go ahead, sorry.
Every 2 years she had him, it seemed like when she sat him, he did amazing. When she played him, he just couldn't get a decent game. But she wasn't like watching the defenses. She was just kind of just going with the flow.
See, that's the way it was with me last year with Delaney Walker, the tight end for the Titans.
Yeah.
Every game you sat him, he get like 30 points because he get like 4 touchdowns. And in every game you play him, you get nothing. It's just the way it works.
See, but
or Larry Donnell from the Giants.
But I got balls lucky last year because I just ended up saying, all right, screw it. I'm done with Nick Foles. I'm playing Ben Roethlisberger. And then he went on that fucking 3-week tear where he had 500-plus yards for 3 consecutive weeks. Yes! I'm back in the game. And actually, the 1 week I played him, I still ended up losing.
Yeah, he had 5 touchdowns. You still lost because it was the cold.
Yeah, but I was like killing it there. That score was egregious that week.
But you lost by like 0.5 or something like that.
No, I like everything you've done for you. The Browns, I want to be.
That was my last pick.
Yeah, but they'll be a good fill-in for the Jets. But you never know. That might end up being the thing. Just like you say on my board, you got a lot of guys that may not pan out till the end of the season. You might get halfway through the season.
My
and
thing
both
is
of the Jet safeties get injured, and you're like, oh.
With my pick, with my draft, for the most part, you know what you're getting. For like 99% of my team, you know what you're going to get.
Shock value.
Yeah, you went with the shock value. And it works for you sometimes.
Actually, the only reason I drafted Jay Ajayi is because he played for Boise State. Check the hat.
Excuse me. I gotta get back to
You got that towel back. Let's see if you can get it again.
All right. So I got an A+ for my draft. What'd you get?
D-.
Yeah,
I predicted
it's because of sleepers.
I'm predicted to go 1 and 12.
The biggest. What was your biggest reach? They said, "What's your reach?" My reach was the Jets defense in round 9. And the best value pick I got was LeGarrette Blount at like 17 or 16, something like that.
I didn't read the email.
You didn't read it? Okay.
I just kind of like glanced over the first part. I'm like, what? Actually, the thing
you can actually look at it right on here. You don't have to get on your email.
Well, they graded me so horribly because I was Steelers heavy, and it always beats you up when you're heavy on one team because sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't. Like my wife, well, actually, I'm Green Bay and Pittsburgh heavy. My wife is Bronco heavy, big time, like 4 players from the same team.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that later.
But that pans out for her. The first season, the first time we did the draft, she did that. She literally had Peyton Manning, all the Broncos running backs, all the Broncos receivers, including their kicker and their defense. That first year,
she did not have her tight end because I had Julius Thomas because I banked big time on him.
Yeah, that's right.
Jimmy
She missed out on the tight end, but she had every other person possible you could play at one time on one team. She had them.
You're still my thunder for our next topic.
And
want to just jump ahead to it? Sleepers. Who's a sleeper in our league? I have Jess as our sleeper. You and Jess are our two sleepers.
I always put money on me because a prediction of a D- draft grade in 1 and 12.
Well, I mean, you win 2 games, you beat the prediction, so I guess so. But the reason,
but then that comes down to, you're playing me. I've got a low score. He's got nothing but sleepers. I only need to beat him. It already says I'm going to beat him by 10. I'm happy with that matchup. Next thing you know, the sleeper gods are awakened and aroused, and they are pissed, and they want their team to win, and then the sleeper team.
Anyway, off on your magical enchantment there. Your magical.
You're lucky I didn't do pros. I'm feeling Shakespearean.
Okay. Sleepers. I have Jess as a sleeper, and here's why. Like he said, like 2 years ago, we had fantasy football league, same thing we have now. But the difference is 2 years ago, like last year she wasn't able to do this because someone stole her thunder pretty early. She drafted, first pick in the draft, Demarius Thomas, then she went Peyton Manning, then she went with Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
Okay, so she went heavy on Broncos. And that panned out for her 2 years ago because Peyton Manning had a very good season. And other than Julius Randle, Julius Thomas. Other than Julius Thomas, Peyton Manning did very well throwing to all of his receivers and so on. I have her as a sleeper because strictly speaking, if Peyton Manning has a good year, her whole team's going to do good. Now, the downside, if Peyton Manning gets hurt, if he doesn't have a good year, let's say that their coach thinks Peyton Manning need to throw less and hand the ball off more, that really hurts because a third of her team, a third of her starters are tied to that one player. So that's the downside.
It can be doing.
It can. That's why she's a sleeper. Your team's a sleeper because there's a lot of unknowns. It's better to draft a player you don't know about, whether he sucks or is good, or drafting a player that has played for 10 years and you know what you're going to get. He's not going to do very good. He may get you like 10 points.
Yeah, but when I look at that, I'm also looking at the age on the miles on the tires as well. Because fresh rubber is always going to hit the road eventually.
No,
I would rather take that over the guy that, like you're saying, 10 years, guaranteed 10 points. Or I could take the rookie that's going to replace somebody next in line who could just break out.
I mean, here's the way I'm wording it. Maybe I'm wording it wrong. I'm saying, yeah, it's pretty cool, right? What I'm saying is this. If you have an old car, right?
Mm.
And you're given an old car, you give all the specs on it, you know it's going to get like 18 miles a gallon, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Okay? But there's also a chance that you get nothing, too. Over here, you get a brand new car, not told anything about it. You can get great gas mileage, you can go really fast, you can do this, you don't know the possibilities of this car. The unknown on this outweighs the known, is what I'm saying.
True.
That's what I'm saying. With your team, there's a lot of unknowns, where you could have the 38 miles a gallon, you could have really fast, like off-the-line speed, you can have it's the safest car you can buy, you can have all these factors, but the old car, you know what you're getting.
Yeah. I like that.
So there's only 2 variables here. There's a variable of you know what you're getting, or it's gonna like kill over. So that old person you get like Frank Gore, either you know you're gonna get that guy's gonna run hard, because he's not gonna have that breakaway speed, or he's gonna fall off this year.
Well, yeah, you're either gonna get 18.
You get one or the other. This one you have so many different options. You can get that 18 from the old guy, that the old guy got. You can get 28 points. You can get right in the middle of the pack, or you can get nothing.
Or you get 18 games at 3 yards per carry, or like the way I do it, 60. There's playoffs. Well, actually, all we need is 13 games at 3 yards a carry, or I could have a couple of random no names that I just throw out there one week just to see what's going to happen because they got bumped up on a roster, and all of a sudden I've got 4 games at 100 yards. You know, I don't know. I don't
know if it guesses real quick. I look at the team. And outside of I thought Owen Daniels went to the Broncos. Why does it still say Baltimore? Oh no. Okay, now it's changed. I'm sorry. Yeah, for the most part, she's pretty good. Some guys she reached on, like Giovanni Bernard. I don't even think he starts. Darren McFadden.
I think she was just looking for people.
C.J. Spiller, Eddie Royal. But no, she didn't do bad. But it's the main guys that scare everyone. So who's your sleeper? You say Jess as well, yourself? I thought you and Jess are two sleepers.
I'd definitely take my wife as a sleeper because everyone always like the logic. They're like it's either there or it's not, and they think it's not. They think she's just they underestimate her. I think a lot. I think Schweitzer, Harvey, not Jean, not Charlotte, Casey, and especially James. I think they underestimate her. I think they underestimate her because they don't.
See, this is why I like Terrence. Terrence doesn't take anything for granted. And he's got that young kid like innocence to him, but he does not take things for granted. Everyone's draft he thought was good in their own way.
Well,
when you heard him during the draft,
yeah, he looked at me and he's like, oh, I was gonna grab him next.
Yeah,
and then me and him did that like 2 or 3 times during the draft. Hell, if you look down the board to begin with, we drafted pretty much running back, wide receiver, quarterback, and then when I shifted over and grabbed the tight end, that kind of threw the
yeah. For as young a kid as Terrence is, I think he's the most mature in the draft because he doesn't underestimate any of his opponents. He's learned that very quick. That's kind of the good side to him starting fantasy football when he was 14.
Well, but he also does his research, but then he's not afraid of his gut.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of that gut feeling. Just because the research says something different, he'll take his gut feeling because a lot of players that me and him were going back and forth on, that had nothing to do with ESPN's Top 100. It was all about, I just got a feeling about this guy.
Okay, so who are your solid teams? I thought the Final Destination, that's Terrence's. Steel City, I'm not going to pick my own. You can do that if you want. And Cornfed are my 3 flat-out solid teams.
Actually, I just have to agree with that.
James is just okay. His is okay. Because even though he did bitch and complain the entire fucking draft,
he had a solid team.
He has one.
He had one.
He does. He still has. He'll mismanage it somehow. He always does. I still don't understand why he picked Isaiah Crowell that early.
Isaiah Crowell?
Yeah,
that was... No.
Yeah, okay. Well, those are my solid teams. All 3 of those guys. And Mike actually scares me the most. Because
Schweitzer or Harvey?
Harvey. Mike Schweitzer is my disappointment. I'll get to that in a minute.
But Harvey knows how to manage anything.
Yes. Mike knows what he's doing. He knows his whole team is just solid down the board. Romo, Peterson, Cobb, Matthews, Gronkowski. Those are all solid. Every position starter is solid there.
I'd beg my wife to draft Peterson, and I would trade her Peyton Manning. Begged her.
T.J. Yeldon, Keenan Allen. Yeah, for the most part, his team was very solid. So can't say anything against that. So you'll agree with me on those, like the 4 solid. And I think mine's very solid. I'm not gonna try to toot my own horn, but you can say it or not. It's up to you.
So
okay. Disappointment. Gene and Charlotte, they get a pass because first off, they're very new to fantasy football.
Gene's second year.
Gene's second year. Charlotte's first, but both of them drafted better this year individually than both of them combined last year. Yeah, their drafts were way better this year than it was last year.
But I think it's because they spread those picks out. Last year, all those picks were like in this nice, neat straight line, and it was like da-da-da-da-da. Well, you take all that and you spread it out because Gene likes to go with his gut on top of all the research, and you spread that set of picks, 36 picks out across 2 teams, looks a lot better.
Like, okay, if you look at Charlotte's, Love, Gore, Golden Tate, Julio Jones, they're all decent players. Rudolph, I would actually start Kels over Rudolph, but that's just me. Bolden, LaFell, Kaepernick's not bad. Tannehill. Don't know why they drafted Bush. Ivy will get the majority carry. Pierce, Kenny Stills. They're all decent backups, but they can all have that breakout game. And they got the best kicker in Gostowski.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Nick Folk, they didn't need a second kicker after you get Gostowski. Just set him a week. And then Broncos and Texans defense.
Texans defense.
Yeah.
With Clowney back, that.
And they also have Wolfwork. You got to factor that in. And then Gene's team, I actually think Charlotte did a little better than Gene this year.
Well, they were kind of bouncing off each other.
Gene, solid team. Flacco, Murray, Victor Cruz, Mike Evans, Clay, Wallace. Yeah, he's got a solid team too. Way better than what they did last year. He didn't second round quarterback or defense. My disappointment this year is Mike. And the reason why, and it's nothing against him personally. If you hear this, Mike, don't take it personally. Your quarterbacks are solid. Both of them. Actually, Mariota is kind of a question mark. I'll rephrase that. But Your running backs is where I have a personal issue because you only have one that's a definite starter. Okay, only one is a starter, and that's Matt Forte.
Yeah.
He is a little bit older than he was last year when I had him. Okay, if you look down your running backs, Davis back up to Jamal Charles, Hilu Jr. back up to Latavius Murray. Yeah, Latavius Murray. Hilu Jr. back up. Matt Jones back up to Alfred Morris. D. Williams, he'll play the first 2 weeks, but then he's going to be back up to Le'Veon Bell. And then who's your last running back? That's your last running back. So 4 of your 5 running backs are backups. And you have to get value out of your earlier picks, and you need to get running backs out of your earlier picks. It's quite possible that you could have just drafted perfect, and there's going to be injuries, and you're going to be dead set on getting those guys. I mean, your receiving core is pretty solid, other than Amari Cooper was drafted kind of early. You don't know how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, I can't believe when he took him in the 3rd round because I really.
And then you got Lockett. Lockett, I think, will actually be pretty good, but he won't be that great. He got him like 3rd or 4th. It was 3rd or 4th.
Because I think he was next on my list.
T.Y. Hilton is fine. I'm good with that. Jimmy Graham is going to be great, and you actually stole that pick from me because I was going to pick him next. Your receiving core is not bad. There's some question marks there too, but I just thought your running back picking was bad. You have to have a couple solid receivers before you go with those.
I was going to draft Cooper in the 5th round because I took Roethlisberger in the 4th round because people started grabbing up quarterbacks, and I did not want to get left out.
And then Janikowski, you're banking a lot on Oakland. He's a definite Oakland fan.
But Oakland could just blow up this year. You don't even know.
The reason why I don't think that is their coaching. They haven't had consistent structure. If you took that team and moved them to New England, I'm pretty certain that they would do a lot better because of coaching structure. So that's my nothing personal. Your wide receiving core is pretty solid. You have a good starting quarterback. Your defense is not bad. Your kicker's not bad. The issue I'm having is your running backs are not starters.
Hey, buddy.
I have 5 starters on my team.
I'm underestimated all the time. Sometimes it's a good place to be.
We'll see. And actually, unless there's anything else you want to throw out about the draft,
not fancy.
That's it for fancy football.
So
we're going to zip right over and we're going to talk about some football stuff. Okay?
I'm going to change his diaper.
Okay, he's going to change his own diaper.
No, my diaper's good. His diaper needs changed.
You wear diapers? I was just joking.
Dude, I got to sit here for a very long time. This thing used to last 2.5 hours. I was always prepared.
Yeah.
Depends are only like $18 a box.
All right. We're going to zip over the football, so see ya.